A little-known forest legend so unsettling that Sweden's tourism board practically wants it banned outright. The story kicks off at a college reunion. 5 former roommates get together for drinks, and as anyone knows, once you get more than 3 guys in a room, someone's bound to come up with a brilliant idea. Sure enough, they quickly agree to take a hiking trip to Sweden sometime soon. The 5 of them drink until midnight, at which point Luke suggests running to the store for more booze to keep the night going. The others have work in the morning, so only Robert tags along with him to the store. While picking out alcohol, Luke suddenly senses something's wrong. The cashier is slumped on the floor, badly hurt. Before they can even process it, 2 men burst out from the back room. The store is in the middle of an armed robbery. Luke instinctively backs away and ducks behind a shelf. Robert, standing closer to the front, isn't so lucky. The robbers demand his belongings, and outnumbered and unarmed, Robert has no choice but to hand over his wallet. But that's not all. They want his wedding ring too. Robert pleads with them while shooting a desperate look toward Luke in the corner. Luke has actually grabbed a vodka bottle, but after a long moment of hesitation, he still can't bring himself to step out. Losing patience, the robber stabs Robert, then stabs him again, and rips the ring off his finger by force. Robert's wounds are too severe, and he doesn't make it. 6 months later, that night still haunts Luke. With Robert gone, the remaining 4 still go through with the planned hiking trip to Sweden. Once they reach the endpoint, they pull out a photo of Robert to honor his memory together. Deep down, everyone knows it was Luke's cowardice that got Robert killed. If he'd stepped in, the robbers might not have dared act with the odds at 2 against 2. But out of respect for their old friendship, none of the 3 ever say it out loud, though the guilt eats away at Luke regardless. After a night camping on the mountain, the next morning they get ready to head back the way they came. But then disaster strikes. Dom twists his ankle. He already has an old leg injury, and now even walking normally is a struggle. Retracing their steps would mean 6 hours back to base camp, then another 8 hours back to the lodge, 14 hours total, which is way more than he can handle in his condition. Their group leader Hutch comes up with a not-so-great idea: cut straight through the primeval forest at the base of the mountain. It would cut the distance roughly in half, getting them back before dark. With no better option, Luke goes along with it. None of the 4 realize this will turn out to be the biggest regret of their lives. From the outside, the forest looks unremarkable, but strange things start happening almost as soon as the 4 step inside. The compass suddenly stops working, forcing Hutch to navigate by instinct alone. The deeper they go, the more wrong it feels. Not a single bird call in this dense forest. Total silence. None of them think much of it, and they keep moving, not noticing that the woods around them have quietly turned into dead, withered trees. Then they're horrified to spot a dead reindeer strung up between 2 bare trees in the distance, its limbs splayed out like a human's, its insides completely gutted. There's no way it climbed up there and posed itself like that. The blood is still dripping, which means whoever did this hasn't gone far. Luke pushes for them to leave immediately, but strangely, what should have been a 6 or 7 hour walk drags on past nightfall with no end to the forest in sight. Worse, a downpour starts. There's no way they're making it back to the lodge tonight. Just as they're about to pitch their tent, Luke notices strange symbols carved into a tree.
Guys, what is it? What is it? Look at this.
Classic runes tied to ancient powers, and when combined, even more potent. Both symbols carry a meaning along the lines of binding or containment, like some kind of seal. By flashlight, Hutch spots a cabin not far off, saving them the trouble of pitching a tent. He kicks the door open and leads everyone inside. Trailing behind, Luke suddenly hears a few crow calls, and somehow they sound less like birdsong and more like mocking laughter over some plan that just succeeded. The cabin is reasonably clean inside, and the hunting rifle on a shelf suggests this used to be a hunter's temporary shelter. But a string of runes hanging from the rafters gives the place an unsettling edge. Luke mentions the strange sound to Hutch, who brushes it off. After checking the stove, Hutch sends Phil and Dom upstairs to scrounge up something they can burn for fuel. Upstairs, Dom finds some old chairs and a table, while Phil notices a room with its door shut. By flashlight, he gets a clear look inside.
Guys, get the fuck up here right now!
What now?
Oh my god. What the fuck is that?
Standing in the center of the room is a figure made of straw and caked mud. Humanoid but headless, with antlers in place of arms and feet that look more like chicken claws. Spooked, Phil starts spiraling into paranoia, and Hutch quickly cuts him off, ushering everyone back downstairs. After they leave, Luke takes a closer look and realizes those feet might not be chicken claws after all. They look more like a pair of withered human hands. Back downstairs, Luke suggests they just retrace their original route tomorrow, but Hutch thinks that would waste too much time, better to push on through, and they're bound to make it out tomorrow. Reassured by him, the other 3 finally manage to fall asleep. Sometime later, a blinding light jolts Luke awake. Outside the window, it looks like morning already. He opens the door, and somehow the outside has turned into the inside of a supermarket. As if pulled by some unseen force, he wanders in to pick out vodka, and the moment he turns toward the half-open stockroom door, it finally hits him where he is. He snaps awake with a jolt, catching a glimpse of something vanishing instantly into the depths of the forest, and notices 5 holes have appeared on his own chest. The next second, a scream tears through the cabin. Luke rushes in to find Hutch thrashing through a nightmare, having wet himself from sheer fear. Dom is in the same state, and it takes Luke calling out to snap them both back to reality. That's when Luke realizes Phil is missing. Following a trail of clothes scattered up the stairs, he creeps upward and finds Phil kneeling stark naked in front of the mud effigy, as if in devout prayer.
Phil, what are you doing?
What is this? I don't know. I don't know, man. Get up, okay?
The 4 quickly pack up to leave, but the moment they step outside the cabin, they see the dead tree out front carved all over with runes, looking like some kind of warning. After everything strange that's happened, Hutch finally relents and agrees they should head back the way they came. Right then, Dom spots a trail in the distance. Already half out of his mind with fear, he stubbornly insists on taking it to get out.
We know where that goes. We could end up in Norway for all we know.
Great! You know, I'm sick of this off-road bollocks, okay? The path means civilization.
Worried about his safety, the other 3 have no choice but to follow. But the trail behaves oddly. After walking for what feels like forever, their direction never seems to change. Hutch starts to sense something's off, thinking that if this keeps up, they really ought to be heading toward the sun. That's when Dom spots some tree stumps that look like they've been cut and maintained, a sign someone's been active nearby. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, another cabin comes into view. This time though, Dom refuses to go inside, insisting on sticking to the trail until the pain in his ankle finally forces him to stop. Taking advantage of the pause, Luke decides to climb up a nearby slope, hoping to get a clear view of the way out of the forest from higher ground. But once he reaches the top, he's met with nothing but more endless forest stretching out behind the ridge. Staring down at the hole in his own chest, lost for what to do, he notices what looks like a hand emerging from a dead tree in the distance.
Guys! Everything okay? There's something up there.
Most of the disturbing things Luke has seen on this trip, he's been the only one to witness. Dom, already rattled and now pushed past his limit, finally snaps and starts shouting, laying the blame squarely on Luke. If it weren't for him, none of them would be in this mess. Confused, Luke has no idea what he's talking about, so Dom spells it out plainly.
Now he's got some fucking fight in him, yeah? Well, where was that with Rob?
You fucking fight your friends, you can't stand up
You are not
for
my
them.
fucking friend anymore. You are not my fucking friend
No,
anymore.
I'm not.
No, you're fucking not.
Oh, for fuck's sake, guys.
No, you are fucking not. Okay? Do you know what? I am fucking done with you.
Not a drop of blood on you. Fucking coward.
What?
With Dom tearing open Luke's old wound, whatever was left of their bond finally breaks apart. But there's still a long way to go, and Luke walks ahead in silence. Infighting now will only make things worse. Not long after, they stumble onto a strange patch of land where nothing grows at all. Phil digs into the dirt and uncovers a buried tent, and a wallet inside holds a photo of what looks like a family of 4. Hutch finds a credit card too, with an expiration date showing it expired all the way back in 1984, meaning this family probably met a grim fate long ago. As despair sets in deeper, Hutch tries to reassure everyone. Before they set out, he left a message at the lodge, and rescue should arrive within 5 hours. Heartened, the 3 press on, but darkness falls again quickly, forcing them to set up camp for another night. Hutch quietly pulls Luke aside and tells him Dom's injury is getting worse and worse. They can't keep going like this. He wants Luke, the strongest of the group, to head out alone at first light with the compass and map to find help, while he stays behind to look after Dom and Phil. Back in the tent sorting through gear, Luke suddenly hears a strange noise outside. He carefully unzips the tent flap, and what greets him is an exact replay of that night. The robbers knocking Robert down, tearing off his wedding ring, then turning to look straight at Luke. He jerks awake from the nightmare just as a scream rings out from outside. Rushing out, he finds Phil on his knees, sobbing, and Hutch is gone. While he's checking on Dom, Hutch's screams start echoing from deep within the forest. This time Luke doesn't hesitate. He immediately runs toward the sound. But Dom holds back, terrified. It's pitch black all around, and chasing blindly could mean getting hopelessly lost. Forcing himself to stay calm, Luke gives up the chase and returns to the tent. The 3 of them sit through the rest of the night, then follow the trail at dawn to search for Hutch. Walking ahead, Luke suddenly stops, and when Dom looks up, his scalp crawls. Hutch is strung up between 2 dead trees, just like the reindeer before, dried blood streaking his body. Luke is consumed with regret. If only he'd kept chasing last night, Hutch might still be alive. He brings Hutch's body down and takes the map and compass. Dom still insists some deranged hunter is treating them like prey, but Luke knows in his gut that whatever did this is nothing human. Before long, they find a river in the forest, and footprints in the mud spark a flicker of hope. The three follow the tracks and just before exhaustion sets in, climb up a steep slope. Luke tells the other two to wait while he scouts ahead. Pushing past a few large trees, the view suddenly opens up. The edge of the forest is right there, and from up here he can even make out flickering lights down the mountain. He hurries back to share the good news, only to find Phil sweeping a flashlight around as if searching for something.
What are you doing?
We heard something.
Phil!
Spotting Phil collapsed on the ground, Luke panics and bolts, only to slam into a tree and black out. In his hazy state, that night's memory surfaces again, but he quickly comes to and starts scanning around with his flashlight. Something in the darkness seems to be watching him. Then he hears Dom's voice. He's hiding behind a stump, whispering for Luke to come over. It's just the two of them now. Luke helps Dom up and they sprint for the exit. A massive set of antlers flickering in and out of view through the trees behind them as they run for their lives. A few minutes later, light suddenly appears ahead, but Luke realizes with horror that it isn't lantern light at all. It's a row of torches, and the missing Phil is impaled on one of the trees, lit up like a human torch. There's no time to be afraid. Luke drags the limp, barely conscious Dom toward a distant cabin. Once inside, catching his breath, he notices a white-haired woman kneeling in prayer before that same disturbing effigy. Before he can take in more, someone kicks him from behind and he's knocked out cold. When Luke wakes up, he finds himself locked inside the cabin. Peering through a crack, he sees a group of gaunt elderly people, apparently assembling some kind of structure outside. He gets up intending to break a glass bottle to cut his bindings when the door bursts open and a small, frail old woman walks in. The same mother from the photo in the wallet. She gently raises a cup of water to Luke's lips, and the unexpectedly tender gesture leaves him stunned. The old woman examines the hole in his chest and reveals a matching mark on her own, meaning they're both among the chosen. Luke asks her to give Dom some water too, but her demeanor instantly shifts and she orders someone to drag Dom away. Seconds later, screams erupt from upstairs. A young woman walks in and tries to comfort Luke, telling him not to be afraid.
They prepare for sacrifice. Over soon.
Before long, Dom is brought back, completely lifeless. Gasping for breath, he manages to describe the nightmare he just had. These people had offered themselves up to some kind of monster. Given everything else, that nightmare might be about to become real. Knowing he won't make it out alive, Dom begs Luke to find some way to burn this place to the ground if he manages to escape. As night falls, Dom is dragged out again and tied to a freshly built frame. This, it turns out, is the actual sacrifice ritual. Only now does Luke get a clear look. Countless people are impaled on the dead trees in the distance, all travelers who'd wandered into the forest and never made it out. Total darkness sets in, and something seems to be approaching from deep within the woods. Strangely, by this point, Dom is so far past terrified that the fear almost drains away.
Why don't we do this, yeah? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Just as he braces for some monstrous creature to appear, a woman steps out of the darkness instead, his own wife. Dom can't believe what he's seeing, and in that frozen moment of disbelief, his wife reveals her true form, a creature with the head of a reindeer. It lifts Dom up effortlessly and impales him on a dead tree. Listening to the screams outside, Luke forces his thumb out of joint and finally breaks free of his ropes. When the young woman comes back in, he quickly hides his hands behind his back, pretending to still be tied up. She sets down some food and turns to leave, but Luke can't help asking her what that creature actually is.
What is it?
A god, ancient, one of the Jotun, a bastard offspring of the Loki. We do not say its name.
Because you're afraid of it.
We worship it. It keeps us here. Let us live beyond natural life. No more pain, no more death. Your ritual begins tonight. It is a privilege to worship. You will kneel before the god. If not, it will hang you from the trees.
Once she leaves, Luke unties himself and tries to escape, but finds the doorway heavily guarded, forcing him to head upstairs instead. By torchlight, he finally understands what eternal life really means here. It just means sitting there forever as a living corpse. He sets the cabin on fire, and while everyone scrambles to put it out, he slips into the storage room and grabs a gun. Right then, a furious roar echoes from deep in the forest, and the followers drop to their knees in terror. They failed their task, and the ancient god is about to punish them for it. Luke takes the opening to slip into the forest. By the glow of the burning cabin, he spots the white-haired woman being lifted into the air by the creature, about to be hung from a dead tree, just like the others. He could have slipped away unnoticed right then, but some reckless impulse takes over and he fires a shot at the creature instead. Barely hurts it, but it's a hell of an insult. The creature wheels around and comes after him fast. With his position blown, Luke turns and runs, the hallucination from before flashing in front of his eyes again. He charges forward anyway, but it's no use. The creature catches up to him. He scrambles back to his feet, only for the creature to blink into place right in front of him and lift him up with ease. Just as he's about to be strung up on a tree, Luke has a sudden flash of inspiration and drops to his knees, and to his shock, the creature stops attacking. It tilts its upper body back toward the moon as if basking in the worship. Luke seizes the moment to try to get up and run, but the creature slams him back down. It isn't done enjoying this yet. That's when something like Robert's memory flickers through Luke's mind. Finding a sudden burst of courage, he grabs an axe off the ground and swings it into the creature with everything he's got. While it's stunned, Luke bolts for the edge of the forest, finally breaking through just before the creature can catch him. Bound by the runes, it seems, the creature can't leave the forest's boundaries. All it can do is let out a helpless roar and settle back in to wait for the next person unlucky enough to wander in. That's it for today's story. Drop a comment with any movies you'd like to see covered and subscribe for more.